Opening January 25th Board of Health meeting. We are being taped and videotaped and audio taped for the record. Present Bob Maderas, myself, Joe Correa, Pat Hannon, Wanda Hamer. I forgot her at one meeting. All right, we got a letter from community nurse giving us blood pressures and all of that stuff. Can we get a motion?
Motion to accept as read.
All in favor?
Yep.
So voted.
A lot of COVID testing, huh?
Yeah.
Bring your attention to that. We're going to talk about it later.
Oh, all right.
It's quite a bit. 516 positives.
Positive.
All right, so right now we will go to, yeah, crazy.
Don't sound.
We're gonna talk about that after
Don't sound
anyway. We'll go to the plans, and before we do that, I would like to get a motion to table 115 Manchester Lane, and also to table map 12 lot 11G Allison Drive. A motion?
Motion to accept.
Motion to table. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So voted. The next plan is 124 Nye Lane. I looked at it. I don't know if you want to look at it, Bob.
Well, I couldn't get it. I could not get any plans in my computer, my phone.
Joanne sent it to you also to see if you can open it up that way, but I don't know.
I couldn't see them, so I think I wrote you a note back
You did?
that I received your note, but I did not open it. I could not open it. Oh.
Dear customer, this is Molly from Amazon. We received one system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm gonna talk to you right off. Oh, wrong way. Amazon.
At least it's not
I
just me.
looked at that, so.
This
I don't- is there any
rings
issues with
about
it?
50
No.
times a day.
No, any of the issues, there was a few issues that when we reviewed it, David reviewed it, that we sent back. And this is the updated revisions. Chamber system. And house. That's another nice new septic system.
Nice new. What the hell is this?
This is up next to Pine Drive on Nye Lane. It's
Nice
the-
lane, yeah.
yeah, it's a Nye Lane. It's the brown house there that had all of the like the train and
Antique stuff like
yeah, yep.
replicas.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I gotta see though, on coming out of that main tank, the 1,500 gallon tank, I see they have 2 elbows in there
On the way to the
to
D
the
box.
to the D box.
Yep. And it's a kind of a tight fit. on
They
what's-
couldn't just put 1 elbow in today. They had to put 2. It looks like they got a 22 and a 45. They couldn't just get
I mean-
straighten it up and get rid of 1 elbow. That's something that could get plugged up or something.
22. Well, they're 20 feet away from the house.
Yeah.
You know.
But if you straightened it out from
They-
the main tank straight out to a 45 and go right in, I think we would better off than having 2 elbows there.
Yeah.
It's up to
and-
you. You're the inspector, not me, so.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, the thing that I would say in this particular case, I mean, go back to the contractor and see how he's going to make that work. I mean, this picture,
It's simple.
you know, and
You know that. It's simple to make anything work.
right on paper, you know, but you got to make it work right on the field. And you know, there's already the guy I know that's going to do this, and he's no joke. You know, not like any of the installers. All the installers around here are good, so I would expect that he
This
would
guy
do
don't
whatever.
like the installers? This engineer don't like the installers?
No.
I was
I
gonna
know
say, well, I
who's
don't
gonna
like him either.
install that. There's one particular guy that's gonna install it, so,
Oh.
I mean, I'm not the engineer. So
I
I'm
was
sure
gonna
he'll
say-
do a good
I was gonna
job.
say, if the engineer didn't like us installers, I don't like him either.
No,
I'll
not
just
that at all.
reject the plan and there's only one vote, so it ain't gonna pass.
Yeah, no, I mean, if that's the way it winds up being, you know, in regards to those elbows.
Yeah. I just can't see using the 22 and it's only a little offset, you know what I mean? I could see a large 90 or a 45.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a 45 in there, and you're right, there's a 22, we could put a clean out in.
Boy, that could be even an 11 then.
This
Put
the-
it, put it clean out.
And it's also the,
It should be coming out clean out of the,
it's very
out of the
clean,
tank.
because you
It should
guys,
come out clean.
well, it's very clean because you guys came up with this 2-compartment tank, right? And we have that first compartment that really holds a lot of the
Heavy
solids.
stuff, all the
Yeah,
solids.
and then the second one is pretty much all
Liquid.
just straight effluent and liquid, and it's got a Zable filter on it, so
Okay.
there's very limited amount of anything that should be going.
No,
in except
I
one.
just seen it and I figured I'd bring it up.
Mhm.
You know, the less elbows we have, the less problems we have.
Yeah, we try very hard to make sure that they eliminate as many elbows as they possibly can. This one was just the way that they were trying to fit it
He'll
in.
probably, the contractor doing it, he'll probably just say, hey, I'm just gonna come straight out to the 45 and shoot it in, that's good.
Or he might slide the tank out a hair,
Yeah.
you know, further and then go right in with a straight line.
Well, sometimes you can't, and then the most important pipe coming out of the house into the tank is the most important pipe
Yeah,
anyhow.
yeah, but
You
depending
know,
upon, there's a lot of stuff going on right there in that corner too.
Yeah.
There's an overhang, there's a bunch of concrete,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be interesting. Not in the back so much as on the side, but.
Okay, make a motion to accept plan as
I'll
read.
second the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
So voted.
I have to put my 2 cents.
Next plan is 404 Middle Road.
Yeah, I'll give you those later, Bob, if you want.
We're gonna sign them after,
Okay, go
that
ahead.
way we can
Whatever.
move through.
Get 'em
We got
off.
a few things going on, a few things to discuss. The next one is,
Does my glasses look good, Wanda?
404,
Yeah. All right.
404 Middle Road.
Your turn.
All right, everybody, shut their phones off. I didn't do much.
That's Google this time.
California.
Yeah. That's what Mike said, California. Unbelievable.
Still early over there.
Yeah.
I had a wine tasting at 7. I think I'm gonna be late.
Go ahead.
So yeah, another repair. Just-
You won't be late.
Hey, what's this 3 point,
Oh, no,
I'm talking about
3/8
California.
feet?
There you go.
I seen a variance here for 3.38 feet.
Well, that's what the engineer asked for, so we kept it that way. He didn't make it exactly a 4-foot variance, you know, a 3-foot
3 to
variance. He
4.
just made it whatever he needed. There, in this particular case, it's a 1,500-gallon septic tank that was in good shape. He wanted to keep the 1,500-gallon tank. He came right off and twisted the system from where the original one was. When
Yeah.
we went out there and did the Title V, the system was underwater, bad. So,
Yeah, I know, a lot of water up that end.
yep. So this is it was, you know, it was
Luckily, we really haven't had a lot of water. Rain, really.
right.
So, you know, it's, I know years ago, remember Tom, we did one, and all the perks came good, and now it was done in the summer. Came towards the winter, the thing was flooded right over.
Oh yeah.
And I says, how the heck can anything, the prior board before we came in, how the heck did they ever allow this to go? Because the system was right underground. Where I did some sampling on the other side, and I could see all the red soils telling me that
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it's wetlands.
Yep.
And I'm saying, how the heck can this? So the people, they had a heck of a job. They had to raise the system. I think, I'm talking about 4 feet high.
Wow.
What a
Well,
mess.
That was the right thing to do, though.
Well,
Crazy.
but I told him before it wouldn't work.
Yeah. No. It not down that low.
Even he came out and he says, Bob, you sure? I said, this ain't gonna work when we start getting water. it'll start raining heavy. He says, boy, that was right, flood.
This one was underwater because of it being failed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, I mean,
that's a tough spot over there.
Get a motion for the waiver.
Okay, I make a motion for the variance for the 4 feet to 3.38.
Second, I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Right.
So voted. Motion to accept the plan.
Motion to accept plan as read.
Second, all in favor?
Yep.
So voted. And now we will go to discussion, oh, wait, we've got one more. 1163 Main Street. Sorry about that.
the existing two-family that's up there. Corner of Peach Blossom. The soils are, you know, incredible.
All sand,
Yeah,
all good coarse sands in there.
yeah. So it's just basically, you know, it was a failed system. It's redesigned and better than before.
Really, truly, that heck in the system's failing in. That's all nice coarse sand.
I think, you know, when you look back at some of the older, my 2 cents is when you look back at the older designs of two families, they weren't required to have multiple compartment tanks. At the original change, you know, with the older Title V and then even, you know, I think 2006, you didn't need. But now that we require it, on top of the fact that the code requires it,
It all depends
it
what they
helps
do
that.
too. They could be doing bleaches and killing all the bacteria in the tanks and
It's a two-family. and,
creating
you
their
know,
own problems.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Because I know that's all gravel, sands
Sure.
and gravels. in there. I
Beautiful.
mean, you can't find better material anywhere around. I make a motion to accept plan as read.
Second, all in favor?
Yeah,
So voted. All right,
I think almost anything could work in there.
next item
There you go, Joe.
is discussion, and it's the award of air sensor grant program. I will let Pat explain that.
So, probably 6 months ago, I got contacted by Representative Hendrick's office, alerting me to the fact that there was a grant available for particulate matter air sensors through DEP. We applied for it, and we got notified at the end of last week that we had been awarded a grant. You could get up to 10 sensors. I applied for 8. I believe we got the 8. This is a program that actually runs through DEP and EPA, and these sensors are connected to an interactive map that the public will actually be able to go on and click on the interactive map and see what the air pollution conditions are in town from these sensors. This is something that DEP's partnered with EPA. If we keep the sensors deployed for 1 year, they become the property of the town, and we get to keep them. And we can keep them in service, and DEP will maintain them. So,
Is this in writing? That DEP will maintain them?
I've got the grant right here.
Okay.
Yes.
That's in the
Yeah.
book.
And if we don't like it, after a year, we can throw them away.
Yeah.
But I've talked to another state that uses them, and they've had them out for 3 years, and they're still going strong. So we get a fair number of dust
Yeah.
complaints.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yep. And we'll certainly have no problem finding places to deploy them.
We've
and
had,
then public.
recently, we've had complaints of
The
dust.
next item.
When we had the wind
That just,
with the
that's
storm,
me.
Okay.
last weekend or the weekend before,
Oh,
It's just me.
residents on the south side of the quarry had a lot of dust on their cars. So currently the town has 3 air sensors deployed right now that we're renting. But those air sensors have weather stations and detectors for volatile organic compounds. They're a lot more complex. They're collecting data. I'm gonna have the data from the last 3 weeks sometime tonight. And then we're moving all of the monitors, hopefully this week before it snows, if it does, to the north side of the
Do
quarry.
it before Saturday.
Yeah, well, we're trying to do it tomorrow or Thursday, but they'll come over to the north side. And then we'll leave them out for 4 weeks, and then they're going away for the winter. And when the spring comes and things dry out and there's more opportunity for dust, we're gonna put those 3 back out again, just because of the extra capabilities. These were strictly 2.5 PM dust, which is the respirable dust. That's what really matters. So, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
It's a,
Does this pick up salt?
well, salt is particulate, so yes, it's gonna pick it up.
Okay, because.
It won't tell you what the particulate is.
Yeah,
It'll just tell you that there's
because
a
right
grain
now,
size.
they've been throwing a lot of pure salt
Yeah.
with calcium on the state highway out there. And when it dries up, it makes a lot of white dust.
If you drive by the Council on Aging, there's an air sensor on
Yeah.
the front lawn. And when I drove home one day, it was like a fog of salt dust. And I
Yeah.
called Conoco and said, we've got a lot of salt on the roads, and the answer was, it's particulate, and it will pick it up. So,
Which is all part of what we're doing.
it's all part of it, that's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you gotta have the salt.
No,
You
we're
gotta have-
trying to
yep.
establish data.
Yep.
That's what we're trying to do.
That was the key. All right, very good.
That's it.
That's it.
Next is a Public Health Excellent Grant.
Yep. So as we had talked about previously, we are now part of this grant. This grant is generally for shared services. The shared services is the grant combined the city of New Bedford, Acushnet, and Fairhaven to basically operate in a way that we can hire people through this grant. The grant comes with money. Hire people to utilize those people to bolster up public health in the 3 communities. And as we had talked about before, one of the main things that we were looking to do was hire a nurse. So through that, so far, Fairhaven, Acushnet, and New Bedford New Bedford is the one that's handling the grant because they're the larger, they have more staff. I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. This has to, there's consistent, you have to consistently keep up with it. You consistently have to let the state know what's going on in order to keep the money flowing. So at this moment, they've put out for a nurse that will, and it's like an $100,000 range nurse that is going to be shared through all the communities.
One nurse?
Yeah, for now. So we are working, this is very early on in this type of grant, and they don't even know, it's shaping what, we're shaping it, if you will, how it's going to look, what it's going to look like. But the hopes would be that as we go on and get into this a little bit more, that, we'll have some accessibility to New Bedford. Acushnet might have, what I generally see is, we, from a simple standpoint, we used to do flu clinics, right? Or pneumonia clinics, or something along that lines, where we haven't been able to do that both from a money standpoint and from staffing standpoint, because we just don't have the staff and or the money to do it. So this, in order for us to do a flu clinic, we have to buy the vaccine from the state, and then we have to collect insurance information from the people that would have it, and then we have to, from an administrative standpoint, we have to collect the money back from the insurance companies. So it takes a bit of work to do all that, and we're not set up to do something like that. That's why we don't do the flu clinics anymore. But with this type of situation, that same nurse and the staff that the city of New Bedford has probably will be, I should say, more so than not, be at our disposal. So we very likely could turn around and do our flu clinics and utilize the staff that the city has to come over here for a day and do our own. That's the kind of thing that this grant is about. It's not about regionalization, it's about sharing services and hiring the people to share the service, not necessarily me going to the city of New Bedford or the city of New Bedford coming to me, but specific people that have been hired under this grant to do this, and that's what the grant's for.
But you're talking one nurse, Joe?
For now.
For now.
For now.
Because one nurse in the city of New Bedford wouldn't even never be enough for them.
But it's under the
Covering 3
grant.
towns?
But it's under the grant. Okay, so we have our nurse. We already have our contract nurses.
Yeah.
Right.
This would just be to help offset it. Maybe right at the moment, and we're gonna get into that with the budget talks a little bit, but again, maybe this nurse could do the vaccination clinics, whereas our other contracted nurses continue to do the communicable disease surveillance. And then we can do blood pressure clinics again. I mean, we're not doing that right now because all our money is going towards contact tracing and communicable diseases. So it would be ideal to get some of that nursing services back. So that was the big thing in that discussion originally, is to do something with they need a nurse, and so do we, both the towns. Some sort of presence that's above and beyond what we have.
So how many towns is going in on this gig?
Just the 3.
Faven, Acushnet, and New Bedford.
Yep. And that we're already in it. It's in it. There's a bunch of money involved in it. It's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with the towns or the city having to pay for these staff people. This is funded right now. This particular grant is funded, and it's throughout the whole Commonwealth.
But for how long is this grant for?
It's 3 years
3-year grant.
at the very least, and they're talking that
For
it might
now.
go further.
Yeah.
But
Because we don't wanna-
It's going in a positive direction.
We
That's
don't
the-
want to get a
that's the key
grant
to it.
for 1 year and then we're stuck with these people and we
Right.
can take it out of our pocket.
exactly.
That's for the birds.
Right, so, but this is a all-out push for public health that's coming from the state to bolster up public health in all the
After
different
the 3
communities.
years is up, what happens then? Do we reapply? Do New Bedford reapplies for another grant for this to keep it going, or
Well, there might be, again,
we may not be around here in 3 years from now, the way things are going?
but the state is pushing this to try to get, and this is not just New Bedford and Fairhaven and Acushnet. This is throughout the entire Commonwealth. So this is a large-scale grant where it's basically saying, trying to group together communities
Right,
that need some extra
I
help.
think when they see it, where it's working, I think you're gonna see probably increase, maybe, throughout,
Exactly.
maybe
More-
an increase of more people available, maybe another nurse, who knows?
Yep,
But
yep,
it's the beginning of a good, positive
yep, that's
direction.
really what it
I
is.
think.
It's really to try
That's
to
great.
get people in place.
Not costing us anything. Huh?
Right. Get
That's the
people
key.
in place to, provide more services. Do the things that we need to do. You know that there's such a large amount of things that need to be done on a regular basis in public health across the board. So it's just a matter of being able to help, especially some of the smaller communities that don't have the funds.
How much is the grant?
$300,000 a year.
So we'll be able to hire 3 people.
It's,
city.
yes, it's possible that you could be able to hire 3 people, but it might also be some other stuff that's involved in there, things that we need
of other
administratively.
It's gonna be some indirect costs there
Yep,
for the town of New Bedford, city of New Bedford.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're administering it, so,
yeah. And they're
And
the
they're gonna
they're the
get the
larger
biggest
community,
percentage.
so.
yeah.
Right, which makes sense.
sure.
I think
that-
it's a great, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, at
It's
this
gonna
point,
help.
like I said,
It's
if it
gonna
gets ugly, it's good. It's good right now. There's a lot of things that we've talked about that could very positively come out of it. You gotta remember that the city of New Bedford, at the same token, based on its population, the size of its population, is entitled to a larger share of basically whatever the state has to offer. And based on that, now, when we add in the population of New Bedford, population of Acushnet, and the population of Fairhaven into that, it increases them to, we're talking about 135,000 people rather than 100,000 people, which is what the city has. And that might increase our ability as a whole, as the 3 communities join together, to get more money,
Right.
more grants,
More grants.
more availability to be
More
able
nurses possibly, too.
to do more.
However they spread it out.
If I don't ask questions, I ain't gonna get no
No,
answers.
please do.
That's good.
Yep,
You
it
can ask
is very
questions. You know
new.
me, if I don't ask questions, there's a problem somewhere with me.
Definitely a positive.
It sounds like a good idea. I think
Yeah.
I talked this over with you
We
a while
did.
back.
We have. We talked about it
I
before,
think I
but
came up with the same questions.
it's new,
Yeah.
so I don't have the intent of it is what I'm telling you, but we're
The intent
still
sounds real good.
working through the nuances of it, and we're being watched and we're being overseen by the state, and because it's new across the Commonwealth, everything that we're doing is brand new.
Right, okay.
So it's not just us,
Yeah.
it's everybody that's
If-
doing this.
If we need these people to do something for us,
Mhm.
and they can't find the people to do it for us, where do we stand?
Well,
Like
then
if
we
it's
don't,
an-
then we
Right
don't-
now, it's, right now,
If
it's a
an o-
positive.
If it's an overload for New Bedford and for Haven, and we need these nurses or nurse or males or females, whoever comes in on a job,
I think it's something they have to work out.
Well,
I
we're
mean,
working-
it's a new program.
So remember, if we're not using
It's not
them,
gonna happen.
somebody else can use them.
no, if we're not using them, we're not gonna have a grant. The whole point of the grant is for the 3 communities to use the people that we hire with that
Right.
grant
But
money.
what happens if they're tied up in, we say, in New Bedford?
Then they're not doing what we have to do, and that information will be forwarded to the overseers, and we'll have to
We'll make it
figure
work.
it out from there. If we're not gonna be in it, we're
It's a
not
new
gonna be in
program.
it.
I know we were.
But it's worth a shot.
I know that
You
we
can't
were
pass that
in
up.
with 3 different towns at one time. He'll remember that.
Yeah, that was
And-
again, regionalization. This is not regionalization. This is shared services.
Right.
It's totally different. We're not locked into them in that kind of situation. We're locked in through separate money, and if it works out, and maybe, 4 years down the road, if it's really working, maybe we could regionalize, based on the information that we've already learned and gone through this grant.
Yeah.
But until then, it's just shared services. We're hiring people to share with us, and it has to work. And if it doesn't work, then we don't have the grant.
It's a new
But-
program.
But if we need them for something, we can't get them. What do you do? Draw
That's
back
not
3
the,
steps?
that's
and
not
punt?
the case.
Well, again, I
That's
think,
not- That's not the case
We're
right now. I
too
think
far
they
ahead.
Making it
they
a
need,
case.
right,
yeah.
they need to work out the program.
I'm just making it a case.
It's a
Yeah.
work in progress.
We can't
Right,
tell you that
exactly.
answer
We
because
don't
we
know
haven't
that
got there
because they
yet.
haven't started it yet.
I'm just saying, for instance,
We don't know.
Well, what would you do
Can't
now?
answer it.
What would you do now if you needed the extra help?
right now,
We don't do
we'd
anything.
have to handle it ourselves.
I'm gonna
And
ask,
you are.
what we're gonna do is
But
we're
right
gonna,
now, we like to
That's
go
what we
this
did
way.
before.
we're gonna ask for money is
Yeah,
what's gonna
but
happen.
right now, we're gonna give this a shot.
But this is a new service with
Yeah,
no
it's-
cost to the taxpayer.
Right, it's not costing us anything. It's worth a shot. I mean, if we
No,
don't
I
get,
have nothing
if we don't
against
get
it.
the help.
I'm
we
just
don't get the help.
asking questions
Well,
because
I know what you're saying.
people are listening to this
We
on
gotta
the
let
air,
them-
and they're probably saying, well, what happens if they're tied up in New Bedford? They're a much bigger community than Fairhaven and Acushnet combined.
And like I
they're
said-
gonna be using them more than us. If we need them for something, are we gonna be left out because we're a little town of Acushnet?
We're in it together, so either it works or it doesn't.
doesn't.
Like I
Can
said,
you
so,
back out of it?
yes. I mean, that would be, that was the point. It's just gonna be, no, it doesn't work for us, and,
We're
bye.
not- right.
Which actually will screw up the grant, because the grant is intended to be the 3
I mean,
communities.
if it don't work for us, why should we stay into something that don't work for the town?
I
The
think we-
taxpayers.
I think we
Right.
need to,
Let's try it. Let's try it.
that's what I'm
Well, we're-
saying.
Let's just try it.
Okay, that's what we'll do.
Try anything.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Thank you.
The next
We'll keep that.
item is regarding, we'll keep that on the agenda. Oh, can I get a motion?
Get asked the questions.
Can I get a motion to keep that?
Yeah, I'll keep you up to date on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah.
that. Motion to keep up to date on this public health excellence.
A second, the motion, all in favor?
Yep.
So voted. The next one's late fees in regards to people not paying their license on time at the end of the year. So we had a discussion with Joe about this.
I thought we had that discussion a couple of years back.
But
We
the
did.
only thing is that I would like to table it to the next meeting because Dave's not here.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
He-
I mean.
I mean, in a conversation with him, he was on board with it.
Right.
Again, we go out of our way, Wanda goes out of her way to get this stuff prepared early on, and it's quite a bit of work, to get the new applications out and have them fill it out.
And I'll sign them.
Yeah, right, you guys review them,
takes some
sign them,
time.
go through it, and then all we really do is we get them out there a month and a half, if not more, in advance. And all we ask is for them to get it in on time, because it's quite a bit of work, receiving the applications, going through the applications, and making sure. So we do the best that we can to make sure that we get it done by the 1st. And then all of a sudden, we have these stragglers that don't. They come in the middle of the month, and sometimes they forget about it. And when they forget about it, then it causes us to have to write letters and then chase it.
It's gonna, if there's a deadline that you have to pay your bill, you should pay your bill. And if you don't pay your bill, you're gonna be percentage-wise. If your bill is $5, it's gonna cost you $10. What can I say?
Yeah.
Pay your bills on time and you'll be all set. You don't have to pay that $5 fine.
Yeah, I'm in
That's
total
my
agreement
philosophy.
of it, but
If you have a hardship and there's something, a sickness in a family or something like that, we understand that. We're all human beings here, you know?
but I'm in agreement with it, but I really would want to table it to the next meeting and then we
No,
can
no, it's all right.
make
I have no
whatever
problem.
votes we have. to.
Motion to table it for the next meeting until we get a full board.
All right, second, all in favor?
Yeah.
So voted. Now we have the community nurse home care deficit, and that's something that you want to
Yeah,
explain.
I'll go through. So last last budget season, by the time we got around, or the nurses got around to discussing with us what it was that they were seeing, from a money standpoint, they were trying to renegotiate the contract with us. We'd already been through town meeting, we'd already appropriated, the town meeting had already appropriated the $13,000 that we used to pay the nurses. Of course, this had a lot to do with COVID, and that's not me.
I don't know.
Bob's phone.
Shut your
Yeah,
phone
it's
off.
either a text message or something, but.
That sounds like a
yeah.
ring.
Turn
Keep
the
looking
volume
at
down.
I
It
thought
is down.
I thought it was Disney.
It's not me. I was waiting for a little Tinkerbell to
Yes.
fall out of the
I'm
sky.
I'm looking around for Tinkerbell too.
Okay,
So-
sorry, Joe.
Yeah, no problem. We had
Well, Tinkerbell ran away.
we, took a look at it. They wanted us to increase the amount of money that we were gonna have in our budget, and we simply said to them, we can't. We've already approved it. It's already been approved by town meeting. So we left it at the $13,000, and we, the Board of Health received some grants. We got some grants because of this COVID, and we said we're gonna see where we're at as we go through the year, this fiscal year. Now, we did have some help from the state. They did some of the contact tracing for the COVID, but that ended at the end of the year. It ended in November. And we have been separating out our monthly payments that we generally make, which is $1,083, which is our budget amount every month. And then the extra hours that the nurses have been putting in. And so at this particular, halfway through the year, all right, here we are in January, we are at basically $6,000 above what our contract price is. All right, so we pay $1,000 every month. Over 6 months, it's $6,000 roughly. We're $6,000 to also higher. So at this point, we've already spent $12,000 on the nurses. Our budget's $13,000. I've been able to offset that extra $6,000 through our grant, but the grant's basically exhausted. I think we have another $1,000 in it. I don't think it's going to make it. I think this January, we haven't got January statement yet. You can see based on December, the 516 positive patients. Each one of those people have to be contacted, and then their contacts have to be contacted. So it's a lot of time and effort spent with the nurses, and the price has just gone up because of that. So at this moment, it's really to let the board be aware of the fact that we are more than likely going to go into a deficit paying the nurses.
We can't get a transfer?
Well, we will. It'll have to happen at the end of the year. But I'm sure we have to. We have no choice.
It's not our
gonna
fault.
It's not our fault. That being said, I will continue to work with, the accounting department and to let them know and be aware of what's going on, so at the end of the year we can ask for transfers. So sometimes some of the other departments have excess money that they didn't spend, and sometimes we can pull some money from there so that it doesn't destroy the entire yearly budget through the whole community. So we'll just play that out at the end of the year. But looking forward to this budget year for fiscal '23, I see no other way but then to budget the extra $13,000 that it's gonna cost us. And based on everything that I see over the last 6 months, it's gonna be at least another $13,000 to pay the nurses for what they've been doing this year. So that brings our increase from $13,000 to $26,000 for fiscal '23.
That's very important, which we're gonna get to.
You know, we've done the best that we can. I mean, if I can find something out there to help offset the expense, of course I will, but
Yeah, there's not,
We
it's not,
have
I mean, there's not much we can do.
no.
It's just,
It's there,
you have
it's
to,
there.
you have to.
We didn't ask for
You have
it.
to get the increases.
It was thrown in our laps.
I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
No.
I really don't.
Joe?
I think we,
Are you allowed to deficit spend?
at this point, that's what I've been told, yep.
Because if you, my experience is if you deficit spend and the transfer for some reason doesn't get approved,
Yep.
you can make, it becomes a personal liability.
It comes out of his pay?
Becomes a personal
Oh, that's
liability in the
okay.
law.
No.
I thought that's
Everybody-
okay.
I'd ask for the transfer.
We don't
now.
get that much money anyhow.
I will have to, at this point, like I said, it's,
You know, we've
we're
done
not,
this before.
Yeah, we're
In
not
many
there
board
yet.
Crazy
situations.
times, but
Yeah.
we're
In
not
this,
there.
in this situation, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the public health nurse. I mean,
Public health.
they're not gonna, the finances
No, I agree. I'm just saying,
isn't gonna
yeah.
be in agreement.
Unless you want to
with
send the
No,
Chinaman,
you
Chinese
can go
people
for an emergency
bill for
transfer
it.
for
They're the
that.
ones that started this.
Yes.
Whatever we have to do.
contribute a week's
they're gonna-
vacation or something.
They're gonna have to agree with us
No.
because we won't have a public health agency.
And
Right.
realistically, one of the things that I'm gonna say is that obviously that's horrible, but the real truth is that the belief would be as we go into the summer months, much as it did last year, it will decrease.
Right.
So our peak is essentially right now. I mean, our December excess, in excess of the $1,000, was actually $2,000 more. But prior to that, we were in the $800 range, $700. So it's gradually come up to this, and I believe that over the
Peak
course
time
of
right now.
the next couple of months, and that was the way it was last year. You came Thanksgiving, Christmas time, New Year's, it all,
I mean, if the town don't want to
No,
cough up the money, the $13,000
that won't be the
more,
case.
you just eliminate it. And let the town just say, well, you don't want to appropriate the
No,
money.
we're not
It's
gonna
just
do
going to
that.
have to be that way, but
It's public health.
Still
We're not gonna do
but
that.
they have to.
There's no
Right.
CARES money, Joe,
There,
left?
there won't be,
There's no
it's
cares
not
money.
gonna be a problem.
No.
I did ask for that.
They
I
spend
would-
money foolishly sometimes, a lot of time penny wise, dollar foolish.
So I don't know a lot about it right now. I'm not gonna pretend to know a lot about it, but the town is going to receive this ARPA money, which is, again, it's basically like the CARES money. It's excess money for the town. The selectmen in the process of hiring somebody to, direct them on how to spend this money. It's gonna be a lot of money. There's a good
On how to
possibility.
spend it correctly.
How to spend it correctly, yeah, but there's a good possibility that we might be able, from the townspeople standpoint, we might be able to use the money for the nurses from there, which means it wouldn't necessarily come out of the town's budget.
Tax dollars.
But, yeah, I
We don't-
can't
we don't know that
plan
yet.
on
No.
that, we
I can
can't.
show you how to spend money.
Yeah, with all your money.
The nurses,
Yeah, right.
the nurses and COVID-19 has showed me how to spend money,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Very easy.
Mhm.
All right.
Have you gone to the grocery store lately?
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
My God, the money that they're charging for groceries and.
All right,
I
we're
went-
going to the
couldn't-
next subject. We don't have
couldn't find-
groceries on the
I
agenda.
don't care.
We don't have groceries on the
Ask me if I
agenda.
care. It's a
So
free
we
country.
really covered
This
both
is
of
Bell.
those.
I-
We're in good shape with that? All right, good.
Listen,
Next-
I spent
next-
time to keep this country free to speak your piece, and I can speak my piece.
No, okay.
No?
Keep it healthy, too.
Run the meeting by yourself.
All right. What were you gonna say?
Nothing. You interrupt me, Tom. I'm just trying to explain something the way the
Well, I
economy
know,
is.
but
And
I-
you shut me right
I
off.
realize
I think that's inappropriate of you doing that to me, Tom.
Go ahead, Bob.
No,
finish.
forget it.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all
No,
right.
I'm just trying to move the meeting, that's all.
For what? I've got all night.
I don't.
That's your problem, not mine.
Well, okay.
Run the meeting, let's go.
Next, the next item will be the budget.
Well, we
So we
really
just
went down that. I mean,
Pretty much went over what the increase is, and the only big increase is gonna be is
The
gonna
nursing.
be the nursing.
And there's a couple of other things that we usually run into the negative there and
Over here, Bob, this one.
swap our money around. But I just put it on that, the finance committee asked for two budgets, one level funded and one with the increase. So I'm gonna provide them based on what you guys see tonight, if you're okay with that, the increased and the level funded one, and an explanation of basically what we just went through of what the necessity is for the extra.
So the other, you got the other one? There's one that's level funded.
I'm looking
I
at this
think-
one.
I think it was in there.
So, yeah,
So that shows the extra 13,000 for the nursing,
yep.
for the one that, right, that's not level funded. You had a couple other smaller
Yep, there's-
items in there.
we usually go into the,
Photocopier increase.
yep, that's been going up. We usually, last year, we went into the red on that and we tried to make it up by not spending in some other places. But I added it in there. The other thing is the dues and subscription and membership, that had gone up when we hired Pat, because he's part of some of the groups that we're in, and we covered that, you know, last year being a tough year, we covered that by, again, not spending money in some other place. But considering the fact that we have to add this $13,000 in, I just put those in there. They're really tiny amounts, just to
Mhm.
get the budget to be right. The rest of
I
it,
don't think the finance committee would give us an issue on the increase on that anyway.
Of course,
Not on the public health.
Of course, what are they gonna argue,
Right.
what is their argument? You gotta have
You
them.
gotta have it. There's nothing we can do. It's not our fault.
and on the other side, on the flip side, I mean, we really are trying to go and help offset this.
We probably have the
with-
smallest budget in
With
town.
With the grant, with the Public
Right.
Health Excellence
Think
Grant.
about it.
When we had the nurse, remember when we had the nurse contract through the town, our budget was 400 and some odd $1,000, and we're still half of that.
Of course.
When we went to
We cut it way
Fairhaven.
back.
Yeah, when we went with the health aid.
And Jane Stankwith from Fairhaven kept it
Yeah.
for, what, 12,000?
For how many years? I mean,
25, 30
we
years?
saved the town a fortune.
As long as they've been in business, we saved the money.
Yep.
I used to go negotiate with the lady all the time.
Yeah, because our budget was almost 500,000.
She used to
and
say,
that was
go talk to her.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So we haven't even come close to getting
Some-
back to what the
Some
budget was
people make
20
more,
years ago.
some people make more than that in a year, one person. Tom Fortin.
Yeah, yep, yep. Well over that. Anyway, all right, so that's what we have to present for next week, which was, it's gonna be on the 9th, which I won't be here, so,
Okay,
I don't know if you wanna go with Joe.
I always go.
I'm not gonna be here, I might be skiing.
What's more important, skiing or this?
Skiing for me, unfortunately. I already
Well, I
made,
thought food was
I
very
already made
important too.
plans.
Without food, you can't go
I
skiing.
knew he was
Cal.
gonna say that. All right, so we're even now, right?
Nope. Food's more important than skiing to me, my friend. I
But we
think
just ski down the hill, you eat.
that's right.
That's right. Okay.
I guess that's about it. You guys schedule something on something else?
We're good with that.
Do you want to approve it?
So, motion, just gotta approve the minutes, Bob.
I read the minutes.
I guess
Yeah.
you can't.
There was a couple there that
We can't.
I wasn't there.
We can't because Dave's
You
not
need a
here.
whole, yeah.
So we'll can I get a motion?
Motion to
Table it for the.
table for the next meeting.
Second the motion, all in favor? So voted.
You're gonna put a meeting date for the next one?
I don't know.
Well, find a date and
Well,
pass it on to him. If he
we gotta-
can't make it,
Yeah,
well,
because
by the way.
we kinda got this one kinda, I don't want, all right, well, we make it tentative because we don't know what days, when Dave's available.
I don't want the
So,
boom, I'd rather have the truck.
Or you wanna go to the 22nd? Is that all right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Washington birthday?
Yeah,
keeps it about the same distance. and-
Poor
Right.
Washington.
so it gives the same amount of space. But
What is it,
let's check with Dave
22nd?
the 22nd.
In February. And also, Bob, you're gonna have to remember the 9th.
Huh?
The 9th,
Yeah.
if you're, for the
Right.
finance committee.
Okay.
What the hell do I have for the nice? Nice.
It's at 7.
Huh?
It's at 7.
I know, but I
You
don't
might
know.
be shopping at the grocery store.
I might. I like going shopping. I can pick what I like. No, my wife is gonna be in Boston for her eye, because she went blind in that eye,
Yeah.
and she's gotta go see a retina, but
If it's on
I
the-
should be home on time unless traffic. I'll call you anyhow, Joe.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there, so.
What time is that? What time are we scheduled for?
At 7. I mean, I don't know if we're the first one on, but what they did is they basically went out of their way to spread it out as much as they could, because,
And what day is that on?
I think it's
Thursday.
Tuesday?
I'm on the 7th, so it couldn't be a Tuesday.
It's a
Or
Thursday.
Wednesday, maybe.
Thursday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah, so I'm on a Monday.
All right.
Can you come with me too?
Huh?
I don't have anybody to go with me.
Where?
Budget for
I don't care,
conservation.
go anywhere. You
All
buying a coffee later? I'll go
I don't
with
see anything else?
you. Right?
No?
That-
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Yep.
We are now adjourned. Thank you.